Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Cam and welcome back to the AFI Project. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of the last great silent films of all time, City Lights. This was written and directed by Charlie Chaplin, we all know who he is, and it was released in 1931. It features Charlie Chaplin's legendary character of the Tramp, or the Little Tramp, I've heard both versions, and he falls in love with a flower girl who happens to be blind. He doesn't have any money to buy flowers from her, but he becomes friends with a drunken and suicidal millionaire and begins to step into his shoes, if you will, in order to impress the flower girl. And the moral question is, does this blind girl love the Tramp for who he is or for his money? That is the question. This was a massive passion project for Chaplin. His last film, The Circus, was released in 1928, and soon afterwards, talkies were all the rage. However, he felt that his character shouldn't talk, so City Lights was basically his attempt to rage against the dying of the light. And now, having actually seen City Lights, I can safely say, yeah, it's a good thing that Chaplin made this movie silent, because I can't imagine Chaplin talking in any fashion. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've even heard his voice, not even in an interview. What does he sound like? Do any of you know? Comment down below. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the fact that this movie had a very troubled production. Chaplin ended up firing Virginia Sherrill, who would end up playing the flower girl, and ended up bullying her, among other things. Let's just say if this movie were made today and Twitter existed, well, there would be calls to have him canceled. But in Chaplin's defense, he did own up to his bad behavior, saying that he was under a lot of stress, and his mom had passed away during the early pre-production of City Lights. It doesn't excuse the bullying, but at the same time, it's not exactly like he was being a jerk just for the sake of being a jerk. Like, he was under a lot of stress. Again, not an excuse, but it's justified at the same time. Regardless of all of that, though, Chaplin is one of the highlights of the movie. He has such a way with physical comedy that, despite the fact that he can't talk, you can understand everything that he's doing just by his actions. As I was watching this movie, I was thinking to myself, this reminds me a lot of ballet. You know, people are touching things, they're twirling, they're rubbing their hands on objects, they're leaning on each other. I will say this, in many ways, City Lights would not be made today, or at least it wouldn't be made how it was made back in 1931. But when you boil it all down, the movie is actually pretty sweet and wholesome. I won't go too deep into spoilers, but the whole question of does this girl like the Tramp for who he is answered in the best way possible. The message of the movie is that you can't put a price on your heart. You can't make up something like your self-worth. The final scene of this movie was so influential and so moving that James Agee, a critic for Life magazine, said in 1949 when the film was re-released, he called the final scene the greatest single piece of acting ever committed to celluloid. At the end of the day, City Lights is one of the last great silent films ever made. After that, it was straight into talkies, and Hollywood never looked back. In many ways, this movie feels like a time capsule, but in the best way possible. But that is all for me, guys. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. Next time on the AFI Project, we'll be taking a look at one of the all-time great westerns from 1956. It's The Searchers. But if you like this video, please be sure to leave a like. Comment your thoughts on City Lights in the comments down below. And if you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to allow notifications. That way when a new video drops, you'll be the first to know about it. My name is Ryan Cam, and I'll see you in the next one.